Hey guys, what it do? It's your boy Supreme Uchiha, the God, and today I want to talk about Trafalgar Law, one of my favorite characters in One Piece. Possibly, I think my second favorite character, maybe third, because Usopp, man. You know what I'm saying? First is Zoro, second is Usopp. Maybe drawing second with Usopp. Him and Trafalgar Law right there. I think that's the spot right there. And I want to talk about Trafalgar Law because to me, I think he's the most impressive of the worst generation captains. You know, if you look at everybody, he is like the least amount of members by far. He's the only over $1 billion, $3 billion dollars bounty captain with only like 6 members, and they all garbage, bro. Dude, weak as shit, bro. His team's so doo-doo, bro. It don't make no sense. And let me just explain how weak it is, right? Let's just go through it. So if you look at Captain Bege, right, or Beg, you know, the mafia dude, if you look at him, for example, he has like hundreds of motherfuckers with him, like since the jump, right? He was already like a leader of a mafia before he even joined the Grand Line, before he began his journey in the sea and became a pirate. So he already had hella people. Marshall D. Tech, has, got one of the toughest and strongest and best fruits in ever, right? And then went and released some of the highest, most dangerous, criminals ever. And they joined his pirate gang. So his team is stacked. Jewelry Bonnie is actually pretty weak, but she hasn't done anything major of note, apart from escaping prison and trying to free her dad, Kuma. So she's not really relevant because she's not even nearly a billion. Basil Hawkins, now his crew, he kind of uses his crew as well. His crew isn't amazing, I'm not going to lie to you. We don't really know anyone else in his crew. But the problem with Basil Hawkins is, he folded, right? They went on a mission to defeat Kaido to defeat Shanks, but they ended up meeting Kaido and getting folded. Kid never folded after that, but Hawkins folded. So, even though he's just kind of impressive, but he just basically sacrifices all his teammates and enemies in order to stay alive. But he still seems to have more members. It's hard really because we only fully meet him during when he's already with Kaido. So, he's kind of impressive as well to making it that far. But he doesn't go beyond that. That's where he ends. Then if you look at Kid has Killer, and Killer is basically as strong as a captain because Killer is stronger than Basil Hawkins already, and he was absolutely mollywhopping Basil Hawkins. Basil Hawkins already got whooped by Trafalgar D Law before, and the only reason Law doesn't murk him immediately is because he had his teammates there, and Basil Hawkins knew that shit. He knew Law is way stronger than him. Then if you look at X Drake is he's a Marine, you know what I mean? So he's an undercover Marine, so whatever. Ruge, we don't really know much about him and his team. He's not, as far as we know, he's not worth $1 billion, so it doesn't really matter. Scratchman Apu, he joined Big Mom's crew, right? I'm pretty sure. And not Big Mom. He joined Kaido's crew. Him and Basil Hawkins betrayed Kid and Killer and them. And again, not $1 billion, not all that relevant. I think anyway, as far as I know, but they, what I'm saying, they didn't really cause that much of havoc. They folded and bent over and joined Kaido out of fear. Trafalgar D Law, on the other hand, if you look at his team, bro, he has no Zoro. Like Monkey D. Luffy has Zoro, right? And they're counted as members of the worst generations individually. You know what I'm saying? Not all Luffy and his crew. Like Zoro is counted separately, same as Killer is counted separately. And Killer is not a captain. Kid is the captain, and Zoro is not a captain. Luffy is a captain. So That's something to kind of bear in mind when we're talking about the worst generation here. And literally, Trafalgar Law is going fighting against Tech, and it's him by himself, basically, against the Blackbeard Pirates, literally, because his team is freaking garbage, bro. They were trying to attack with the submarine, bro. They didn't even have the hacking to break through the curse. It was only him by himself. We know that if that was Team Straw Hat, that Zoro would break out of it, and Sanji would break out of it, and Luffy would break out of it, and we know that also Jinbei would break out of it. So if you compare all the worst generation pirate crews, the strongest one is easily the Straw Hats and the Blackbeards. They're easily the strongest because they have the strongest captains and they have the strongest sub team, right? The sub team is insane, right? Sanji and Zoro are like nearly two other captains. Like Zoro has been basically, everybody's been like, how is he not a captain since we've pretty much met them? With Law, it's just Law. In fact, for a few years, it was just him when he became like, one of the warlords, the seven warlords of the sea. He was by himself. He told his team to hide because they just can't do shit for him, bro. His team had to hide in Zao because they can't do shit for him. And he was just doing his own operations, creating the plans, figuring out the best way to kill a Yonkai or one of the emperors of the sea. How insane is that? That Law did that. Like he basically been plotting and planning by himself because he's the only one powerful enough to deal with it, to deal with the situation. If you look at Monkey D and the crew, they went separate ways only for training purposes. But as soon as they returned, it was business as usual. Let's do this type situation. With Law, it's a completely different scenario. He went and got back his team only after he gained a strong alliance so that his team won't be absolute uselessness. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how insane it is. I think that's one of the key reasons why he needed an alliance with Monkey D, because I think he saw he has a really strong crew. He's also a D, just like himself. Which you can say is the Dawn, or you can say is, the will of the devil. It could be anything because, again, devil fruits, will of the devil or the Dawn. But the devil here is not in a negative connotation, I don't think. But, the devil against gods, basically. You know what I'm saying? So I find it really interesting here that he managed to get this far. And obviously, if you haven't caught up, freaking spoilers. But he managed to get this far basically by himself. I would actually argue that his team has been holding him back because they're so freaking useless. Like, we really ain't see them do nothing since their Plaga, the slave saga, the whole, the island with the trees and the numbers on them, and when we first meet the celestial dragons, that island. Yeah, I think it is insane that he's gone this far. It's basically been Trafalgar Law versus the world, man. I'm not going to lie to you. That's one of the key reasons I really like him. He cares about his team, despite how useless and weak they are, or they seem to be. So it's Sabodi Archipelago, man. God damn. The Sabodi arc, anyway. That's, what I'm saying, that's when we meet him and his crew, and that's the last time that they did anything. And imagine, he jumped from 350 million. I think his bounty stopped at like 400 million when he became a warlord, and then from then, it obviously stopped because he was, a warlord at sea. But once he betrayed them and then killed Big Moms, it jumped up to 3 billion. So I think he's one of my favorite characters, easily. He is just, I don't know, he's just a really fun character. He's still alive, thank God. He's fighting Blackbeard, and it's not looking good for a boy. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about him. And just, I wanted to talk about it in a slightly different way as well, because I find it interesting how his team is kind of terrible. But yet he's gone this far just out of his sheer trickery, smart, it's like brilliance and everything. Like, because in his fight against Blackbeard, he he's actually dominating Blackbeard, to be honest. But we know Blackbeard has way stronger powers, but we also know that Blackbeard isn't like the most competent person on Earth. You know what I mean? He just be taking hella hits from everybody. Like, it's almost like, how did he beat Ace? You know what I'm saying? We might actually find out a bit more about that at some point. But anyways, yeah, it's been your boy Supreme Uchiha the God. I just want to talk about Trafalgar Law and how his team is kind of useless and why that impresses me. I think that's probably one of the reasons why he has to be so cunning and precise and thoughtful and actually be smart. You know what I'm saying? Luffy can get away with being an idiot because his team can bail him out. Law can't get away with being an idiot. He can't get away with being weak. He can't get away with shit. You know what I'm saying? He fucks around too much, he's gonna lose. He's gonna die. You know what I'm saying? Luffy fucks around, Zoro's gonna save him. Sanji gonna save him. Nami gonna save him. Goddamn, you know what I'm saying? Chopper gonna save him. Brook gonna save him. Goddamn, you know, Frankie gonna save, like, you know what I'm saying? I didn't even mention Robin, Nico Robin or nothing. Like, so Luffy got hella options. And Law has zero options. What you guys think? Comment down below. Do you think I'm being too harsh on his team and giving him too much praise? But, you know, what else explains him becoming a warlord without his crew? You know what I'm saying? What else explains that? Who becomes a warlord and leaves his crew? Like, Don Flamingo become a warlord with his crew. So, you know what I'm saying? And there's no other person that has like become a warlord without the crew, right? Really, apart from people like excuse me, like Hawks, who was always by himself anyway. Apparently, although he potentially could have been in the same team as Shanks at some point. But anyway, let me know. Spinny Boy Spoon Cheetah God. I am out.